What's up folks, welcome to Wasted Space, and today's the first of two videos taking a look at Space Hulk Tactics. Now, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Space Hulk name, Space Hulk franchise, from Games Workshop in the same universe as Warhammer 40k. But in this case, very, very specific. It came from a 1v1 tabletop game where you were playing either as a side of Space Marines, the Terminators, or you were playing as the Genestealer side. Now, I've got to give a big shout out to Focus Home Interactive, both for sponsoring this video, so cheers a lot for that, guys, but also because Space Hulk, for me, has been fairly hit or miss as far as PC games is concerned. I have played a little bit of the tabletop that it's all based off of, and in that scenario, it's really fun. But when it came to the PC side of things, I needed more than just a duplicate of what you were doing in the tabletop game. I might as well just play tabletop at that point, right? And this game has got it in spades. But hey, we're going to check out all the reasons why I think this one is actually a bit different and some of the stuff you can do in the game. And if after all of that you decide, I actually want to try this out, there's a link down in the video description to go and buy the game. I really appreciate it if you use that one. It's £30 or your regional equivalent, and given fluctuating currencies, I'm not even going to try and guess it for you. Links down there if you want to find out how much it is in your local region. And let's get straight in there. So the way I'm going to structure this is basically by looking at the campaign to begin with, because the mechanics that the campaign includes helps explain a lot of what else is going on. But I'm sure you guys have noticed already, we've got Skirmish, we've got Quick Match being an online thing, so this does have online multiplayer, even with ranks by the looks of things. But also, Mission Editor. That is a thumbs up. Not only a Mission Editor, but a Mission Editor with workshop support, so really pleased to see that there. But the coolest bit about this game, for me at least so far, has been the campaign, how the campaign's been executed, the fact that it's got this really kind of intriguing and interesting storyline to it that's very, it's suitably Warhammer Universe Grimdark, of course, wouldn't be anything else, but at the same time, honestly, it's a bit more intriguing than I normally find that stuff. But this is also going to show us some of the really cool mechanics that they've added into this game to make it have a sort of meta progression and make it actually slightly different to how the board game plays out. So we've got two options here. Yes, there is a full Genestealer campaign as well. We're going to use that next time and have a look at how they play next time around. We're going to start off just with the Blood Angels side, because I've made a bit of progression, and I think if we go through and resume this, it'll give me a chance to show you not only some of the stuff you can get sort of, I'm about a third of the way through the game, I think, so some of the cooler stuff that you start to unlock as you go through, but also help me demonstrate some of how the mechanics work in this campaign. So if we click resume, you're going to be immediately greeted with, any of you guys expect this? I did not expect this. We started up here, by the way, just in case you're interested, and as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of Hulk here. Okay, when I said I was a third of the way through, I might actually have been wrong there. There is more of this left than I thought. But I've just completed sort of a little, not even a little, a fairly large storyline bit. So I reckon right now is a perfect bit to demonstrate kind of how some of this global map works without running into any spoilers, any storyline spoilers, because as I said, the storyline in this is pretty good. And I think it would be a good idea to try to avoid those, because you will enjoy it, I promise. So, the global map like this, you notice we've got a squad management button down there. I'm not going to look at that immediately. We'll move around a bit, maybe do a fight first, and then we can go into the squad management, because it will make more sense that way around. But on this global map, right-hand side, we've got our, this is our resources. We'll talk a little bit about those later, because they become more relevant as the game progresses. On the left-hand side, this bar, however, is pretty important, because every time we move, and this is faster than light style nodes we're moving through, and you can see there are different things that we might want to go through as we go ahead. These keys unlock doors, or sometimes even lock doors, which is an interesting one. But every time we move a node like this blip is going to increase. So move too much and you bring about kind of your own demise, or could do. Because every time we do this eventually, when it hits the top, will spawn some random Genestealer nodes around there. So instead of just being free roaming like we are now, where I'm going through and picking up some components, which is upgrade materials, as I said, we'll go into that a bit later, instead of free roaming around like I am now, it'll randomly add in some nodes that I'll have to have a fight on. So I reckon I'm gonna get that key, which should do that door, because I want this asset. Yeah, you see, and by choosing to get that asset, I've now run myself into the problem that I will get this Genestealer show up, and I bet you it shows up there. We'll find out as soon as I move one more square. Auspex rise with multiple life forms ahead. Seek out and purge the Xenos. Genestealers have you surrounded. Give them hell, my brothers. Okay, so this is they literally have jumped on me where I am with a mini skirmish, which is perfect because there's no storyline stuff in this, whatever. This is like an ambush that takes place at any time. Now, I can use a brother to stand grounded. You can leave a heavy weapons bearer to kind of hold the line and choose not to take the fight. But I reckon, given that this is a demonstration of what this is all about, we should probably go and have a ruckus, kill ourselves some Xenos, right? So, squad selection. These are my 5 dudes. I'd like to introduce my team. We've got Brother Armando here. He is a assault marine, an assault terminator, sorry, I should say, as in he has himself, as does Brother Madriel here, a chain fist and a storm bolter. They're good for moving around. Every time I move with them, I'll get a free shot, basically, because just as part of how the storm bolter works. We've got Brother Lazaro, who is my heavy weapons bearer, as we mentioned, with an assault cannon. And we've got our sergeant with a power sword, and we've got an apothecary who looks... Actually, I really quite like what they've done with his chest there. Thankfully, in the skirmish side of things, you can customize all this sort of stuff yourself. But we'll have a quick look at that later. The last thing I want to do is have just a double check how we're doing on components. I might be able to afford to upgrade someone's cards. So yes, there are cards in this, and... Normally, my mindset when someone says, and then there's cards, is, oh god, really? Okay. But in this, they've completely changed how it all works. It's just really surprised me. And what I might do this time is bring Brother Earl along, because can you guys see what he's got? I've only just unlocked this, so I am very, very inclined to bring Brother Earl along with his heavy flamer. Do I replace anybody? Do I take the assault cannon and the heavy flamer? The danger with this being that these have limited ammunition. I think I do, just because it'll be amusing. Go on then. Go on then. So these little mini missions like this kind of occur randomly as you're travelling around the hull. You saw these threat gauge increase, but we didn't necessarily have to run into it instantly like that. Sometimes they just appear at other nodes nearby and kind of limit which options you have or force you into a fight. And they can be quite cool because not only, of course, you get a chance to beat some gene stealers up, but you also get little rewards for these things and you guys get a bit of it. Not experience, the credits end up resulting in kind of your equivalent experience. We'll talk about that once we get to the end of this mission and hopefully win and get some stuff out of it. And this place is looking gnarly. We're in the orc section of the Hulk at the moment. Can you tell, what with the fungus everywhere and the very cool looking construction, exploding barrels and whatnot? The way these Space Hulks work is they're huge sort of derelicts floating through space that, due to the fact that they drift through the warp, can end up as this big amalgam of many, many vessels smashed together and kind of warped into each other. And, of course, you're making your way through this huge tangled mess. And it means that you go through different areas. So at the moment we're in the Orc area, but we started off in a very Space Marine type area as if one of our own ships had crashed there. And then in the middle we went through something different. I'm not going to talk too much about that because you might as well experience it yourself, but certainly had some different mechanics and a different sort of map look to it. And each one of these map templates has its own unique set of mechanics. Like here, for example, we've got explosive barrels. They're worth noting, in fact, because that's an entire corridor of explosive barrels. And also orcoid fungus, which I don't entirely know what that does because I've never hung around on it. I suspect something bad. So what have we got to do here? Protect the marked objects. That's this console down here. Our sergeant must survive. That's fine. But we've got... These are our deployment points. This is where we can actually start our Marines off. And they're completely split up. Let's have a better look at this map. If I hit space, I can bring up this sort of overview. Okay, so we're down here. This is what we're protecting. Looks like all of the Gene Stealer spawns, except for this one, are up the top, down these 3 long corridors, which is pretty good. Those should be quite easy to hold, especially with some of my heavy weapons guys. So, let's start deploying dudes. Given I've got to keep my sergeant alive, now, we can obviously deploy from down here, and you can see the little icons indicate which class it is you're working with. And in the deployment, you get to click somewhere, and then you can see we get to decide what facing that Marine is going to have. So I'm going to keep my sergeant down here to try and hold off anything that tries to push down this way. He's the only one I've got at the moment that's any good in melee. I believe later down the line, our standard assaults end up with Stormclaws, which of course is going to be really, really cool. But for now, he's our strongest guy. Now, I want the assault cannon, heavy weapons bearer, to cover one of these long lines, because that's what they're really, really good at. So maybe whack him in the middle so we can cover the entire way down there. These are a bit more difficult to cover. We got our flamer. I haven't tried him out yet, and I suspect that putting the flamer with the explosive barrels might be a mistake. So I'm going to put our flamer on this side and cover whatever's going on down there, leaving a standard assault and our apothecary. Now the apothecary is quite cool because, as well as being just a standard Terminator with a storm bolter and so on, if he's standing behind one of our other Terminators when they die, he has a chance of resurrecting them. So I'm actually going to keep him down here with our sergeant, maybe move him up to support the sergeant. Now I'll move the sergeant back a bit. He's a bit close to where they spawn at the moment. And that only leaves us one spot to put our last assault. He's going to have to hold this line on his own by the looks of things. Cool, okay. But before we start, there's one last thing I should check. This game has something like this tactical vision. So if I hit X, you can see that the map goes all shiny and starts to highlight interactable objects. And, ooh, now that's interesting. This thing we're supposed to be defending here shuts this middle door. That icon means that not only does, you can see there's an icon out there, it indicates a door basically, but this one indicates that it's a console linked door that can only be opened by triggering this console. So I might be able to completely shut them out of this. And if I'm doing that, I've put my assault cannon in completely the wrong place. Saying that though, there's a gene stealer right there. I don't know. Oh, there's one other thing. I won't use this very much because practically I haven't found much use for it. But, actually, it looks like I'll have to show you that next turn. You can't do it on the first turn. Now, I'll leave it like that, because that way I can always move my assault cannon, but this way we can deal with the... It's very unusual for there to be gene stealers already spawned on the map. You'll see as the game goes, these things spawn normally from... These are our little gene stealer spawn points, and they spawn from there as blips, as unknowns, a bit like the aliens radar blip, you know, the being... It's a bit like that, and you don't know how many gene stealers there are there until they appear. Normally, there aren't some on the map right to begin with. I wonder what happens. Do they get to go immediately? Slightly different setup for this map than any of the ones I've experienced so far. Of course, there is... I don't think it's random. I don't think these maps are just randomly generated. I think they are designed. But there are a lot of them, as I've seen so far. Okay, so they don't go. Just down to us now. So, first things first, let's show you what I was talking about. Ah, first person, not only first person, but actually quite a good looking first person as well, which surprises me. And down the end, hello Gene. So, what I want to do to begin with is try and get this switch activated. And as I move, you can see as I move this around, we're getting a little indicator of how many action points it's going to use us. Turn-based game, so we have action points on each character, and different abilities cost different amounts of action points. And so does, because we're big, heavy Terminators, turning around. So if I get this guy and just click twice on the same location and spin him, that's actually going to cost me 2 action points to turn around. Because they're big, heavy, clunky Terminators in big, heavy, clunky armor. So what I want to do is I want to activate this, and it looks like I've got enough action points to get there with my apothecary and then use this interaction button. It only costs me 1 in order to activate that console. So that locks off that route completely. I perhaps should have shot the gene stealer before I did that. Oh well, it's happened now. As always with turn-based, I may well not think my decisions through quite as well as I could. But, Now, this is our dude with the flamethrower. And apparently, and this is always the danger of using new stuff that you haven't tried out before when you're recording, I didn't know that flamethrowers don't have Overwatch. That's an interesting one. So I'm going to have to use this guy actively. AKA, I can't let them come to me. Okay, so I'm going to move him up onto this corner on the basis that Gene Stealers can move 6 squares. You can see in their corner, that's their action points. So, and because they're Gene Stealers, they don't cost any action points to turn around. That's really important to remember when you're trying to work out what the enemy team might do. So it's important that I keep this guy at least 6 squares away from anything. So that corridor there in front of him is 6 long. Anyone enters the corridor, they can reach him, but they can't do it in one go. So that means I should be able to shoot them down before they get there. Cool, okay. You're now pretty useless, and you're kinda useless as well, because I'd like the heavy weapons dude there. Can I afford to... Alright, I'm going to move this guy back. And the problem with this is I'm going to run out of action points. I love the fact that they reverse sometimes. I'm going to run out of action points on him, but I really want him on Overwatch, just in case something comes down this tunnel before I'm ready. So let's introduce the card system. This thing, so much cooler than you'd expect it to be. So I've hit space, you can see at the top right here, we've actually got 3 cards. Every turn, dealt 3 cards. If you don't get rid of your cards, you do get to keep the ones that you had from last turn. So you can't totally get a fresh hand each turn, but you get the sort of idea. And each card has a command point cost, and we earn 1 command point per turn, that can be used to play this card and get whatever benefits on it. And you can see some of them are relatively standard stuff, like target Terminator, we get +1 on his next shot, and you can see this comes from the Heavy Weapon Bearers card set, and we'll talk about how the set works a bit after we've done this mission. I can go into the squad customization and maybe even spend some money, unlock some cards. And then you also get more interesting ones like this, where it's complete discard, and this one comes from our Apothecary. But in this case, I'm not too bothered about using any of these. So I've got nothing to shoot, so the cards' values on there aren't that useful. So what I'm going to do instead is convert one. So you notice that once per turn, we've got this convert function as well. And when we do that, it'll gain us, so in this case, that's not so great. So I'm going to convert this, and it's going to gain us 3 squad action points. These can be used on absolutely anybody we want, anyone in our squad whatsoever. And that means that this guy, even though he's moved all the way backwards and run out of action points, can now still get Overwatch on. And you can see the little eye indicators to show where his Overwatch is going to be. This should also mean that when I move this dude back, now you see if I move him back that far, I'm not going to have enough action points to Overwatch him, and it's him I'm worried about. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? So that's 6. So if I can get him back that far and still Overwatch him, but he's closer to that corner than I like the look of. Hopefully, if the enemy AI does choose to spawn something there, hopefully it waits on the corner perhaps. Turn 1 and it's already a little bit dodgy. I'm going to move all of my action points on him to move, because this is now safe by the looks of things. I want him down here and ready to, if I can get him, round into this spot covering the whole line up, because his heavy weapon is perfect for that. Interestingly enough, no, that's not a console lock door. I thought I managed to lock a whole bunch of these spawns off as well, but no. Right, so we've got to survive 6 turns like this. This is not too bad. 1 spare action point. I can probably use that just to move you a bit. Getting closer over to where the sergeant is so those two can work together. And I think that might be it for the turn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this, discard my hand, draw 3 new cards card, just because you can play 1 each. What do I want to say? No, I'm going to say the command points. Ignore me. Ignore me. I forgot that it's very easy to burn through your command points, and then when you do need something really important, you haven't got any left. So, no, I'm going to leave that. We're going to see what the genes get up to. What are you going to do, genes? Hopefully you get a chance to see what happens when they spawn new ones as well. Show you guys what these blips look like. Yeah, there we go. So, a Gene Stealer blip has appeared. I don't know why we can see what's that one. Maybe, is this door see-through somehow? Ooh, hello. Friends are incoming, and they don't like our Flamer guy. That's a shame for you, because I think our Flamer guy quite likes you. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Now, I will mention, and hopefully this ends up getting patched on release, they have mentioned that there's a bunch of tweaks coming to how this game works. The Gene Stealers do have a habit, at times, of not realising that doors are locked permanently. Like, they expect me to go and activate this again. I only ever see it on missions like this, where it's very, very about them charging you with a lockable route. But occasionally they can be a bit dumb. It's the only scenario where I've seen them be that dumb, to be honest. A lot of the time, these Gene Stealers are nasty, like you'd kind of hope. Anyway, let's see. What have we got card-wise to start off with? So we've got +1 on next shots. We have a range 6 and +1 over... What? None of this stuff's that useful. You can only play 1 card per turn as well, so if I play this discard one, I won't be able to play whatever we get from it too. I don't like where this is. It's got far too far down this line for my liking. Okay, let's start off with our Flamer, because this option should be fairly straightforward, which is burn it all. Yes! Not only will that take out the 2 Gene Stealers, but that'll stay on fire and hopefully prevent whoever that is from coming down the line any further. I'm not sure I can do anything about this guy. He's got such a long way down already. While I can get around this corner, I can't shoot him reliably. How far can you get? Yeah, you can't even get down there and turn. I might have to hold the line here rather than trying to hold the line down that corridor. So what we're going to do is you're going to move a tiny bit. You're going to move into his spot because I think that's the best line. And these assault cannon heavy weapon terminators are ridiculously strong. So, yeah, ridiculously strong, but do have ammunition, it's worth noting. Both of the heavy weapons, you can see we've got 5 shots with the heavy flamer, 6 in total. And then the heavy weapons bearer gets 2 clips of 10. But the second clip, when you've reloaded, has a chance to malfunction, and the gun will jam up, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, is not ideal. Can I get to that corner? And I really want you further back. I might spend some of my points here to get him into a sensible location, and him into a sensible location. I can't overwatch here, so you're basically... I might as well guard, so basically hunker down from XCOM, that sort of idea. A lot of these bits and bobs, a lot of the various mechanics will be familiar to people who've played XCOM, for example, even though there's a lot of stuff in this that's nothing like XCOM as well. If you played that, you get a bit of an idea of what the gameplay is going to be like. Just in much tighter confines. It's always in these tight, very nasty corridors to give the Gene Stealers like their home environment. Okay, +1 on the next shot's actually pretty good. This card I really don't rate. So we're going to convert that over, and that gives us 2 extra action points for me to be able to move there and get Overwatch on still. He should be able to see around that corner. Like, the line of sight's pretty realistic, so... Ooh, power sword for the win! So, as we can see around there, we should be able to Overwatch around that corner as well. Some of the way. We can't see this square or that square, but we can see that one. That's not too bad, I suppose. And I'm going to get the Apothecary up behind him, ready just in case he does get hit, and the Apothecary might just save him. And that way, every turn I can move the Apothecary back 1, then the Sergeant back 1, and kind of fall back a little. Not too far, because we can't let them get to the objective, but just fall back a little bit. Cool. Bernie, safe, dodgy. Oh well, we will see, we will see. Now some of these cards, this one here, the +1 on his next shot, only applies during my turn. I was about to mention that sometimes you can get these ones where it'll be active until your next turn, which means it goes through their turn, and those can be really useful for, like, in these circumstances where I could maybe, this Overwatch guy here could be given a bonus to his following shots. But in this case, I have nothing. Fine, come on then, Jeans, what you got for us? I'm not too scared about that top line, because that fire's going to stay there until the end of his turn, I'm pretty sure. Down here, they are going to push, surely. Surely. Or they're going to do the Gene Stealer thing, where they all hug up on this corner, and they all stack up round the corner until they think there's an opportunity, and then come charging out. Don't forget, Jeans, you've only got 6 turns. We're on turn 3 already. All right. 1 step back for these guys, and then I don't think I'm not moving them any further back than that. We've got to hold the line somewhere, and that gives him a slightly better... I think I prefer that Overwatch. It's 5 squares that they'd have to go through rather than 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it was... Oh, I think they'd only have to go through 3 previously because they could go diagonally. Okay, that looks alright. Nothing I can do with the Apothecary, really. It's a shame we don't have the Flamer here, who can shoot round corners. I'd be able to shoot there and actually spread the fire to these squares. But that's fine. That's fine. I think this is a case of just overwatching you. This is a bit of an unusual mission, this one. Overwatching you, and I may well just lay down the fire because I can. Stop them from coming down that line whatsoever. I'm going to get him up there as, like, cross cover. So he can sit on Overwatch just in case they do make it all the way to our heavy weapons bearer there. And I think that's it. That is it. Yeah, this is an odd mission. I've not done one of these sort of stacked defense ones. I have, but not in the orc area. And it looks like it makes the Gene Stealers behave really weird. Me shutting that door has really, really confused them. And then me setting fire to everywhere else has kind of ruined any other plans they had. I've got a plan. I got a plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you, put you there. Oh, they've started to come out the bottom here. Okay, I was about to do something that involved nicking the Apothecary and moving him up here so that I could open this door and let the floods out. I might not do that anymore. I hadn't noticed that they were starting to push through down here. We should be alright. I'm really tempted to open that door. I really am. Can you get there in one turn and then... Yeah, okay. I might save that. Might save that for the last turn then. So no one is in range of our flamer here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no one's in range of our flamer. I'm not going to flame this turn. I am going to leave it. Overwatch everyone as usual. And I'm going to leave him. I'm going to hunker him down, because why not? Or guard him, sorry. Let's use the correct terminology. Not Nick XComs. But I'm going to let them come, because I think part of the reason they're grouping up here is because they know that way's blocked. This way's, for all intents and purposes, blocked with a heavy weapon bearer hanging around there. Are you about to make a run for it? Aha! Now, what was interesting with that one is you notice that an extra Gene Stealer appeared. These blips aren't just a Gene Stealer. They are any number of Gene Stealers between 1 and 3. And you don't know until you reveal the blip. Okay, that's cleared out everything this side. No one ended up going for him. Nothing happened down here. Okay, let's go for it. This may be a stupid plan, but that group of Gene Stealers there is too tempting. It's a shame I don't have much in the way of stuff that will give me action points. And then you go there. I don't think anything's going to come this way. We look alright. So you get on Overwatch. You go there. You're fine. You're on Overwatch. Apothecary. I'm just prepping for this last turn where I open the doors and mow down some Gene Stealers. Probably shouldn't. There's no need for this. No need for this whatsoever. What have I forgotten? I'm going to get myself killed being silly, aren't I? Probably. There's no real point putting him on Overwatch. I mean, I might as well, but they aren't about to come through this turn. Are they about to do anything? What are you up to? No. No, and this is last turn, so... Hello, boys! Another example of these blips actually containing more Gene Stealers than you might think they do. Right, one more shot. Mow down some, and then I'm going to convert... Yeah, we're going to convert one of these over so that he can then Overwatch down the whole line. You Overwatch. You set fire to some stuff. You Overwatch as well. You come stand behind him. And I think that's it. Last turn as well, so we should have this mission in the bag. Come on, Jeans, what you got? Oh, right. Well, that was a bit of a poor example. It's one of the first missions I've seen where the Gene Stealers aren't really, really nasty. But hey, all done. We got ourselves some extra components, so this is our essentially what ends up acting a bit like experience. So if you go into the squad management and we find, where's our new heavy weapons, dude? We unlock anything? Oh, we can't afford it. It'd be nice to be able to show you guys what the card unlock system looks like before we wrap up today. So I guess I'll just have to play a bit more. It's terrible. Open that door. There is something here. What have we got? The Sons of Rust were once here. Seems the Space Wolves set mines to keep the Gene Stealers at bay for all the good it did them. Perhaps if we can find those mines, we might have better luck with that tactic. I'm not sure what the logic is there. Well, it didn't work for these dudes, but if we do exactly the same thing, then maybe it works for us. Oh, a teleporter that can skip me over there, or I can go all the way up the line to get this key. I suspect that the teleporter looks like the right idea here. These teleporters we first encountered back in one of the areas over here. If you remember earlier, I mentioned an area that wasn't marine or orc. And they're interesting. They certainly, looks like this next area is all about pinging between various different locks to try and get things undone. Alright, I'm going to take this route, dive over there. How's our threat looking? Not too bad. Have I mentioned the music in this is really good? Music good, story's good, voice acting's good. 3 things that can easily be overlooked, and in doing so, just take all of the polish out of the game. Oh wow, what we got? The bodies of the Space Wolves bear wounds unlike those inflicted by ordinary Gene Stealers. One of the dead remains intact, an apothecary. Let's retrieve his gene seed and return it to Fenris, if we survive. Okay. I take a moment to retrieve their genetic materials, which give me 500 of that. Retrieve the modules quickly gives me a blueprint. Guard, auto. Okay, we might have to do this just so I can show you how the module system works. So I don't have very many modules yet, and that will give me another one. Threat is frozen for 5 turns. To move around a load is quite nice, but nah, it's got to be the module, right? Got to take the Gucci loot. Yes, yes. So let's go and stick that on straight away, actually. I'll show you how those work. So that was for the apothecary. And as you can see, for each person, we have 3 different things we can mess around with. So we've got the cards, which, as I've mentioned, we'll have to go... Oh, I've got some components now as well. Even better. So let's start off with modules then. Modules are... We've got 2 slots, and they're like permanent upgrades that cost quite a bit to apply, 1,000 in this case. But as you can see here, Guard automatically activated with Overwatch. So if I put him on Overwatch, he'll also get Guard. And Guard is the hunker down ability, which gives me an extra reroll in defense. So that's really quite strong, especially on my apothecary. So I'm going to pay the extortionate price to unlock that and whack it in the slot. As I mentioned, I really don't have many modules yet. We've got this one on Brother Madriel, which is quite good. The +1 in defensive melee. We've got one here that I haven't even bothered to unlock because you can shoot open doors, and in certain circumstances there is a tactical advantage to doing so. But not enough of a tactical advantage for me to want to spend 250 of my components on it. And then, yeah, there's another one for interactive objects, but I think someone else has got something good. Yeah, Brother Lazaro. +2 sustained fire instead of +1. Sustained fire is where if I don't move and just keep shooting on one target, I get a sustained fire bonus. And as you can see, your +2 instead of +1 is going to be pretty powerful. So he's got some nice cards already. Then you've got weapons, which so far I haven't unlocked that many. The Flamer was one of the first ones I've managed to get that isn't the sort of standard loadout. You do put Chain Fists on your guys instead of Power Fists to begin with. And have I got anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it for weapons. Yeah, and sometimes once you've unlocked them, you do actually have to pay for them as well. Although I have noticed. Lightning Claws, boys. Looking forward to those ones. Lethal Surge. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Looking forward to getting my hands on that. But we've got him sorted out, so let's go for another mission. Where am I going here? That key... Is that key going to unlock that? That would be really pointless. It's very hard to tell. I do feel like I want to get some of this stuff around here, though, so... Snip this way. What's the... I don't want to go backwards. Okay. Aspect of... Oh god, the threat's up already. This new area, the previous area I was in, had a 3-tier threat meter. This thing was much longer. And it spawned much... Like, spawned these... The blips would transform into Gene Stealer events. And I didn't have to go through them. In this area, it's just fill it up and they get you. Gene Stealers have them surrounded. Give them hell, my brothers. Now, yeah, I could, again, leave one of my dudes behind. It's worth noting these don't have to be Heaven Weapon Bearers. I was wrong about that. But given the last fight was a little bit on the over easy side, let's give this a try. 5 marked consoles. Is that 5? Yep. 10 turns, and Gene Stealers spawn everywhere. Wow. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Might do a better job of demonstrating how the genes are nasty. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that squad. I think we'll take the same bunch, especially as our Nephemos has now got an upgrade as well. Yep. Let's go with that. Right, let's see what we got here, because that map looked... Okay, it's not as tight as it... Oh, yes, it is as tight as it appeared. Wow. Okay, more Orky vibe, not surprising. We're in that area of the Space Hulk, but... Okay, so we got... There's consoles everywhere. We start in this little narrow passageway, and this happens quite a lot, and the difficulty with starting in these narrow passageways is only the guy at the front is any use, and splitting them out so that they can shoot past each other or move past each other is actually quite difficult. You've got to plan it out in advance. So we've got to shut down all these consoles. The doors are console control. Please tell me that those doors link to those. Yes. Right, so we can actually shut off and lock off the spawns. Each console applies to a certain door. So the plan here has got to be head down here immediately, perhaps? Did I try and tie off one side completely? This side's quite open, so I might have to advance up this more slowly. Down here, though. Yeah, yep, I'm up with that, and that means maybe I'll send my sergeant first. He's quite good at defending himself. And follow him up with... I want heavy weapons to go that way. So... Nope. Let's take the heavy weapons dude. Oh, actually, which way do I want him to go? Flamer that way and assault cannon that way? This is quite a long, straight... No, it's not a long, straight corridor. Alright, flamer that way, assault cannon this way. Clear line of fire. We get the flamer, then our apothecary, and then finally, poor little assault. I'm sure once you get your storm claws, you won't always be at the back. 10 turns to do this all in as well, so I can't hang around, and a lot of this does seem to be not hanging around. This isn't the sort of game where just because you're the guys with the big guns and the heavy armor, you find yourself a spot and camp in it. That doesn't seem to work, as far as I can tell. So he can only get that far. And the concern here is, they're going to spawn here as I'm running, aren't they? Oof. I really need to make this move fast. Right, Rites of Faith. Target Terminator is immune to flames or toxic fog. I mean, that's cool, because it doesn't cost us any command points, but it also gives me 3 for this turn. Yep, I'm taking that. I'm taking that, because if I can get... Oh, if I can get past this door, someone else can cover that line, and then our sergeant just has to worry about ones coming out of here. Which... Can they come out and attack in one turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, this is tight. Okay, I'm going to move our sergeant there, and then get our heavy weapons bearer looking down that way, and then... Oh god, I don't have any backup for him. Oh dear, may have made a mistake here. Right, I know where I want you. Animation sound quality in this is actually pretty good. It's one of the few games where you really get the impression that, and I suppose it's important given that that is really the deal here. It's the big hulking Terminators versus the Gene Stealers. But it's one of the few that I found where you really get the impression that these guys are massive hunks of metal that are really heavy and slow. You know, it's a dude inside a walking tank, basically. Mini dreadnought. And they feel chunky, even more so when they're sort of labouring around those turns, or walking backwards because turning around's too difficult. I'm quite enjoying this, can you tell? Can you tell? Alright, get these guys up. I think that's a sensible first round. It's all going to depend on where the Gene Stealers decide to come out. Because the way, and we'll look at this more in the next episode, but the way the Gene Stealers play is all about choosing which one of your spawn locations you're going to put blips down each turn. And you can end up spawning quite a lot of Gene Stealers, but it's where you spawn them, I think, that's the most important. Trying to work out where I might be going, and then kind of outmaneuver that with where you're putting your blips. But obviously this is against the AI, so... And aside from that last mission, the AI has been pretty good. This game's been kicking my ass quite nicely. Oh god, no, don't turn me up. That was close. I think a Gene Stealer needs 2 to attack. Oh, Mr. Sarge. Oh, Mr. Sarge, you're not in a good way. I'm sorry, man. They're everywhere. They're coming out of the walls. You're not in a great spot. You're not in a great spot, but Mr. Sarge has problems. Okay, what am I going to do here? It's only 1 to melee, and I do have a card for that. I've also got cards for shooting as well. Let us start off by opening the door with you and taking a shot at you. The little cutscenes in this are really cool. The cutscenes from the actual storyline camp, I've been avoiding showing you any. I will probably stick a little one from very early in the game towards the end of this, just to show you what I'm talking about, because the storyline's been really fun. I've actually been really enjoying it, and a lot of it's been done with more quality than I was expecting. Like, the voice acting's very good, the art assets for like the cutscenes, because they aren't all full like movie style cutscenes. Some of them are that sort of hand-drawn art style cutscene, and it's all been done very well. But stop jabbering away, Wasted. It's time to burn some Gene Stealers. He might end up being a problem just because of his very limited ammo. I'm going to move him forwards to give him a slightly... because we've got to get to all of these points eventually. This area here is, however... So the Apothecary is going to spend 2 just getting to that corner. And even then, this door is shut. So I would have to shoot the door open. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might try and get the sergeant to the point and round the corner and do it in one. Do it immediately. I don't think I've got the action points for that. Oof, I can get 3, which is what we're going to need to... Right, let's do that now, because I know I'm going to need the maximum action points I can get this turn. You, sir... What's your melee chance? 40%, and if you fail a melee, you can imagine what happens. Doesn't go well. Whereas I've got a 31% chance of killing him by shooting him. 1 action point each. Or... That's the range one, it's not even the +2 in his next melee. I don't think that's going to be enough to guarantee it, and I can't do it if it's not guaranteed. Oh, right, go on then. RNGesus. Yes! What's that? 2 more. He's got 3 points. Oh, I can shut the door around here and back down this corridor. Yes. Yes. This has worked out. So that door's now shut. I've got 3 spare action points. So let's, first of all, get you round this corner for 2. Oh, that might have been a mistake as well. I moved him one forward there to allow this guy to come forward as well. But this guy can't go anywhere, it doesn't matter. And in moving him 1 square forwards, I've moved him 1 square closer to the Gene Stealers. Now, the answer here is to overwatch him and to move you to that corner, and that uses all 3 spare. Dole, I was going to try and overwatch him as well. So they had a nice crossfire. Okay, that's left me with 2. I'm going to have to just overwatch like that. This is going to be a ropey one. And you are basically useless at this point. The life of an assault terminator in Wasted Squad is not fun. What you get to do is be the guy that dies in some of the missions, and other than that, not a huge amount. To be fair, they are useful. It's just when you've got heavy flamers and assault cannons and whatnot all over the place, you might overlook the poor little storm bolter. Okay, these Genes are going to be scary. Please hit them with the overwatches. Please, every square they go through, they have to take another overwatch roll, which is why it was important to have this guy kind of back a bit and not try and open the door and overwatch from there. Okay, you, please tell me you can hit that Gene Stealer. And actually kill him. Oh, I recognise this card already. No, I don't. Target Heavy Weapon Bearer, his Heavy Flames area effect lasts 2 turns. Oh, proper area denial. Speaking of proper area denial, 1, 2. Hey, Gene. Get toasty. And oh wow. Oh dear. He survived. I was literally about to say the chances of them surviving. Yeah. You see the dice rolls here. We can change between various modes on the right hand side. I have the minimap up most of the time, but if you press T, you can switch between them. There's sort of your expected history of events, and then I can't even remember what the little info one is. Does it give you info about what you're looking at? Probably. Yeah, but as I was going to say, the chances of them dying in the fire is basically if I roll 2+, they die, and I rolled a 1. Hopefully that goes true for this next square of fire there, and they have to re-roll again next turn, because that's already looking dodgy as all. Alright, can I... haven't used any of my converts yet. Please hit him. They're like massive explosive rounds. You're basically firing grenades at him. Please hit him. Now, if you look down at the bottom, we've got odds of stuff, that chances of hitting or something. You notice there's now a +1 next to my 2 dice. That is the sustained fire I was mentioning earlier, the one that my heavy weapons bearer's got the buff for. And apparently, despite that, please hit him. I saw the rounds actually moving in the clip as he shot in that. Oh, lovely. Little bits of quality. Right, how far can you get? 4, 5. Yep, going for it. Converting it. You. Oh, that's -7. I can't make it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you make it? No. Oh, no. Okay, what you can do then is Overwatch with a really nice long line, and we'll just have to set up for next turn. So we'll get him as close as I can without blocking line of fire. I might as well have him on Overwatch as well, just in case. I mean, I don't think that... no, I might as well not, because he doesn't have the action points. I want to save the squad action points, and what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they can't get into his line of sight anyway. It's a shame I didn't quite get that right. That could have been done in one round. You got any blips spawned up top? No. Mr. Heavy Weapons Dude. Would you care to... what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one of these controls the top... Okay, so that's actually hard to shut both of them. I am super inclined to take this opportunity. Get him up there, get one of those shut while there's no Gene Stealers spawned. Right, that's that one done. So it's just this one, which is that terminal on this side. Where does... Oh, we've got a terminal right down. That's going to be a hard one to get to. And then we've obviously got this one here. Okay. You, monsieur, not very useful. Come down this direction. And I think that's it for this turn. Can't think of much else I can do. No, there's no need for casting any cards, so no. Done. Where do I want him to spawn them? Down here, really. Or up here. Okay, nothing too bad there. Right, go straight for it. I'm going to need to convert a card for this to work. Yep, convert that one. Dude, get that door shut. Nice, that one's that shut, so you're now... In fact, you can just stay there, basically. You can... Can I get that one this turn? 4, 5... Yes, I can. Awesome. I need to get you into a position where you can... How is that 3? Yeah, this is worth watching out for here, because this happens. This will end up being 3, because I have to turn 90 degrees, step forward, and then turn 90 degrees again. However, you can go diagonally. So by going there, it's only costing me 1. And that way I can save the action points I need to overwatch him to try and cover this guy's back. This guy can get that door shut. So it's just that panel there left to go. Which sends them out from up here, so... Yeah, you just turn around and overwatch, I think, because that's one of your action points, just turning. Heavy-ass Terminators. Oh, then, you turn around, Mr. Apothecary, because down there's all clear. You might as well go up and start supporting people. It's just that spot left to go. This hasn't gone too badly. That rush down this side, I think, was quite important. Not giving them enough time to build up loads of Gene Stealers. And now they're stuck spawning Gene Stealers into empty rooms. Or, sorry, into locked rooms. Can I... Yeah, let's finish this, shall we? No reason to hang around in here. Mr. Helamer can get this work done. Stomp up, my man. Stomp up. Yeah. Mission complete. Not too bad. Not too bad. And a bit of a better demonstration than that first mission. They were actually a bit odd on that one for some reason. Cool. Okay, so we didn't get anything much out of that except for more components. You rarely do out of the little ambush missions, but we are now free to progress. What is this asset? These assets that look like Stormclaws. They aren't ever Stormclaws, or at least they aren't so far. They just decrease the threat level, I think. I don't know. Either way, it was disappointing when I first landed on one, expecting to get some Stormclaws. It was probably a bit early. A great battle took place here. The chamber is heavy with a clouding miasma. Miasma? I never know. And the walls are covered with claw marks and bolter impacts. Whatever they fought, the wolves tried to trap it here by closing the hatches. Oh. Oh, okay. Look at all this. So we've got doors and... I have to go up this way, don't I? I have to go past whatever that is. Oh god, and then down. Okay, this area is starting to look kind of gnarly. Storm cores, please. Okay, well then. As much as I want to continue, I'm going to leave it there. Because that's clearly, like, don't overlook at it, wasted. That's clearly storyline related. So as I mentioned, what I'll do right now is stick in a quick clip of right near the start, just a bit of the storyline stuff, so you get an idea of what it's like, because I've at least been really enjoying it.
The Imperium of Man approaches its darkest hour. Its defenders lie scattered, spread thin across the darkness. Constant assaults bombard us from all corners of the galaxy. Wars led by the insidious alien Xenos. Limping home from one such brutal confrontation, the great battle barge Blood Crusader is waylaid by a panicked distress call from the Forge World planet of Gorgonum. A colossal space hulk has emerged from the heart of a warp storm and lies on a collision course with the Forge World. This monstrous conglomeration of wrecked starships adrift in the void for eons. The great derelict is a mass of secrets and dangers. And in their vast, echoing chambers lurk swarms of deadly creatures, the worst of which are the Gene Stealers. Fanged, six-limbed, unrelenting and savage. They exist only to consume all life and to spread across the stars like a virus. A single squad of the Emperor's finest space marines is all that stands between this terrible threat and billions of human lives. The noble brothers of the Blood Angels go to meet their fate in the dark recesses of the Space Hulk.
There's a lot more to this game than you'd expect, and as you can probably tell, I'm having to stop myself from continuing now just so as to not spoil anybody. I'm really enjoying it. Really am. But anyway, enough of that. I guess I'll take a save and we can come back to that another time. I might do another mission on the next episode, who knows. But to conclude, we should probably go and have a quick look at some of the other things that Space Hulk Tactics has got to offer. So, we got Skirmish and Quick Match. They're kind of what you'd expect. Quick Match is online play, and there is a online leaderboard, there is rankings for this too. Not something I'll get into right now, but something I might mess around with in future. But then we've got Skirmish, and the reason we're going to go in here, not only have we got a nice selection of maps to mess around on, we've also got, we look on the left hand side, you'll notice we've got search boxes and creation dates. It's got workshop support for this, because as well as obviously being able to load up skirmishes, and we just quickly have a look at this squad's roster, as well as being able to load up skirmishes and customize your squads for them. So let's go for a new squad, 4 different chapters to pick from. Let's go Space Wolves, because everyone knows that they stand out just a little, and oh boy do they stand out just a little. Get your fur pelts on, boys. And we'll have a quick look in here, because there's one other element that you can do with this squad that you can't do in the campaign. In the campaign you're playing through as actual characters. Those guys have got names and so on, so you're not allowed to customize them too far. In here, you're allowed to do pretty much what you want, so let's grab our Room Priest perhaps. You do have a little bit of options, not with the Room Priest, but if I pick up, say, the heavy weapon bearer here, we can switch between weapons, so you can switch to, oh, what's that there? Is that a plasma cannon? But more importantly, and the cool bit that I wanted to show you in here is if we select anyone, hit space, we open up this like meta customization menu as if you're actually messing around with the model itself. So you can do huge amounts of stuff. Now let's take, let's do a shin pad perhaps for as an example. Left shin pad, look at that, looking bare there. So we can put all sorts of different some extra features, and these are all faction themed, chapter themed, faction's not the right word. All chapter themed and so on. But on top of that, let's just have something nice and simple on there. There you go, look at that. We can also do a bunch of other things with it, because as we go across this top here, you'll see that there's tons of other bits that can happen here. So we've got emblems that we can place on if you want to that actually fits quite nicely with the little studs that we've got on there. We can make it look nice and orky, so we can put a pattern on. I mean, why you'd want orky Space Wolves, I don't know. let's get that there, and then where's our colours? I should be able to, under the mask section now, make that, yes, the orkiest Space Wolf ever. You get a bit of the idea. There's a lot of customization that could be done to kind of make your model, and I'm going to call it a model because this is the thing that makes them feel the most like the old tabletop miniatures. Look kind of like you want, up to the point where if I go into these global settings, I can make it look like I've only just painted it. Oh, shiniest Space Wolf. Or you can make it look like you don't treat your models very well. Or are just very good at weathering, I suppose. That actually does look pretty cool. There's a lot of customization options there, a lot of things you can do. I haven't played a huge amount with it yet, simply because I haven't got that much into Skirmish yet. I've been loving the campaign. And yes, you can do it with the Gene Stealer side too. We're not going to look at that because I really want to save that for the next video, give something special for that one. But suffice to say, my reaction when I first saw it was fairly good. So the last thing I want to talk about just quickly, because we've got Skirmish quick back, so you guys kind of get the idea of that, is the mission editor. Because it's just a nice thing to have, and it's got graph paper written all over it, which I love. You'll see what I mean when we get in here. It is, I'm drawing out a Space Hulk map on graph paper. And you've got all the bits you'd expect, so let's build ourselves like the best setup for the Space Marines ever. So we probably want a little corner like that. This is where we'll have our Space Marine spawn, and you can go in and there and obviously go and put, say, your Space Marine spawn in. 5 of them. We can perhaps build out some anti-Gene Stealer corridors, go on for miles, and then just end in, just end in a silly little room the Gene Stealers can spawn in. And I guess we should probably do it the other direction as well. Maybe a little cross junction. You can see how quickly you can put together just little maps using this. And while, I mean, this is all very simplistic, and apparently I need a little corridor section on the end of there to be able to fit those rooms in. While this is all very simplistic, and it's maybe something we come back and, when I say this is all very simplistic, I mean my map, not the actual thing we're messing around with here. I may well come back for the next episode and make up like a proper map. There's a lot you can do, and of course all of those interactive objects that you can expect are there. So one nice thing, notice it's showing me the initial spawn movement distance, so I can judge carefully, don't put a spawn point there because they'll be able to reach the Space Marines immediately. But we can also go and tidy it up with rubble and put in turrets and stuff like that, and then once we're happy, whack the preview button, come down to this level, have a look at our map. But not just that, you can actually click on different tiles to change their texture pack, or whatever you want to call it. So you can go through and literally directly edit up your map to make it kind of look like what you want. And as well as that, if we go back, there is a global way of changing these things too. So if you go down here, you can notice we've got, well, first of all, you'll notice there are a few different styles we can go through. But also, we've got these seeds which can be used to kind of add a bit of extra randomization. Not just, these are the fillers that you get when you launch the map. So this isn't randomization in this map right this second. It's randomization each time you load it. It will change how some of the rubble and various bits are kicking around to make the map look nice and varied, even though, as you've seen, it's just built out of duplicates of the same section over and over. All pretty cool, and something I need to mess around with a lot more. And you can go and you notice that we can set our objectives, and with a nice range of different objectives that we can set how many turns there are and so on, even plus to special rules, and actually do some interesting bits and bobs for make this like something really weird, this mission. But not going to do that now, because I think I have yabbered on quite enough by this point. I'm really enjoying Space Hulk. I'm sure you guys can tell that by this point. But if you do fancy checking it out, there is a link down below. Don't forget about that. Would appreciate it if you use that one. If you've enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button for me. It really helps me in the channel out. If you didn't, dislike button's right next door. And of course, I'll be back for another one of these real soon, where we take a look at the Gene Stealer side of things. And I said maybe do a bit more of the Space Marine campaign once I've got beyond this story bit and mess around in the mission editor. I don't know. If there's anything you guys would like to see or know more about, hit me up in the comments so that I can stick that into the next one. And otherwise, cheers a lot for watching, folks. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Hope you guys do too, and I'll catch you for the next one.
The scry sensors read the presence of a biomorphic gene steal.
This is a unique opportunity. Do not waste it.